Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
Welcome to the Local Lowdown and find out what's happening in Lavaca County, Texas. Now here are your hosts, Murray and Michelle.
Good morning, everyone. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. I just want everyone to know that I am up and ready to talk to you all this morning, but I'm not alone. I do have a co-host this week, but it's not Murray. No, I'm not going to say that. It is not better than Murray. It is just as equally good, and it is Mr. Jimmy Appelt. And so we're going to talk to you all. We do have a little hiccup in going over the papers because we don't have the papers except on the internet, but we did review them. But we're going to go over the week of May 28th and 29th, and you're listening to the Local Lowdown. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm doing fine. I have to come in and work with you today,
and that is
earlier
amazing.
than usual, which you surprised me. You got here on time today, so I was really surprised at that.
And proud. You were proud, Jimmy. I can do it sometimes, but what are we doing this week? So we talked about, we both attended Memorial Days, and that is, we do know that's on the front of all of our paper, and Memorial Day ceremonies, and you attended the one in Houtsville. You want to talk about how that was?
Oh, it was a beautiful ceremony, and they always do is the VFW Post 6382 and the Vietnam Veterans 854 chapter. They host a ceremony every Memorial Day, and as usual, it was a wonderful thing to pay tribute to those who have given their lives so that we can live in a free country. And I don't know, they had a guest speaker. They had James Reeves, who is a retired U.S. Air Force captain, and also serves as our Lavaca County attorney at the present time, and did a wonderful job giving a great speech during the ceremony, and it's just a meaningful ceremony that we enjoyed.
Okay, and Clayton and I attended the one in Shiner, and it is hosted by, I guess, I'm not real sure who does part of it, but the Shiner Chamber does help. I want to thank, first of all, a breakfast is provided, and that is made possible by Patek's Grocery, Blue Stem, and Shinerville Coffee. So all the attendees had the option to attend a short breakfast after, and it's on the beautiful hill at Green-Dixon Park where the Veterans Memorial is. So it's a great setting. It was great weather because last year I feel like when I left, I was just out of the shower because I sweated so much. This year it was cooler, and so that was nice. Ms., and I'm sure, so she has a ranking, and I don't know it, so I apologize, but her last name is Cook, and she spoke, and she definitely served her time for our country, and she talked about those who were fallen and the experiences she had, and her voice cracked many times. And when you think about that, she has been out for years. A lot of things she spoke about happened many years ago, but you never forget those people, and that proved it there. I also got to witness, there was a Vietnam veteran who was in a walker, like one of those walkers you sit on, and he was sitting, and when they do like a roll call of the different branches, when they called Army, he tried to stand up and he just couldn't make it, but his heart was still there. And that's always touching to me, that they never forget. They always remember what they are a part of and why they did what they did and the sacrifices. So overall, it was an amazing ceremony. And if you ever get a chance to attend, because I feel like we had a good crowd in Shiner, but I feel like that more people should definitely attend.
I definitely think so too. I think you not only recognize or honor the fallen soldiers, but really, in my opinion, we should always be honoring every veteran, whether they're passed on or still serving or retired from service. We owe them all a debt of gratitude for what they do for our country and what they have done for our country. And I might add, I always enjoy watching on Sunday evening of Memorial Day weekend. Public Broadcasting Service PBS puts on a wonderful, about an hour and a half program from Washington, D.C., hosted by actor Gary Sinise. And they do a wonderful job, play a lot of music, patriotic type music, and then also they get these actors to enact stories of different veterans, and they had 3 of them they enacted. One of them was a World War II veteran, and then after he spoke, he came up and shook or hugged the veteran who was there present at the thing. Another one was on a Vietnam veteran who served in the Vietnam War as a dust-off pilot. Basically what that is a helicopter pilot that picked up the wounded in live action zones. And then the third one was a female actress who spoke about a family that lost their husband in the Afghanistan war, and that was really sad. It even brought tears to my eyes when I watched it. It was a beautiful thing, and I'd recommend anybody to watch it always on Memorial Day Sunday. And I thought that was really, really great too.
Yeah, I feel like the majority of us very much understand the depths of what the military does for us and their service above self, for sure. And I feel like I said, majority of us feel that deep debt to them. But it's always good to have those moments where you really sit and take it all in.
That is true.
You don't get... we get about 3 times a year that we do it: Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Armed Forces Day. But anytime that you can just kind of sit back and really think about it, you should do that. So I was glad I got to attend. I'm glad you got to attend.
But all our papers, the Yoakum paper and the Moulton paper and the Luling paper all have articles written about a Memorial Day ceremony held in their specific towns. And so it's done all throughout the nation. And, of course, here in Lavaca County, it's done as well. And we're proud to be part of it.
Yes, and thanks for all those who put that on. Now, it's thundering, so I don't know if anyone's going to hear the thunder and rain. We have no clue what's about to come for us, but that's Texas weather,
Well,
right?
speaking of that's something that seems to always avoid Lavaca County when it does rain. We did get throughout the county a nice rain yesterday morning, early Tuesday morning. I had 2.1 inches at my house, and from talking to people throughout the area, they all acted like said that they got at least 2 inches, if not more, almost 2.5 inches. So really a nice rain, and hopefully it'll be a few more times that'll happen. I'd read when all that waterworks cuts off, because when it does, it seems like we go days and days and days without rain.
And the sun just beats down. Yeah, everyone always asks me how much rain I got. I have no clue. A lot. That's why
you need to get you a rain gauge.
I do. I need to invest in one. But I do hope the rain stays away tomorrow, because one reason we're doing this early is because I am traveling to Austin for the Shiner State softball game that will be played at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And
that's at Red McCombs Field, the home of the Texas Longhorns softball team.
Yes, which the Longhorns advanced also to the World Series, so best of luck to them. I love watching the softball World Series, so I'm sad that it's coming to an end already, but I think they start again tomorrow too. The World Series starts, right?
I think they're into the World Series now. Yeah, I know the men's side, they're first starting their regional tournaments where where they have 4 teams play at different sites, and then the winner goes to what they call the Super Regional, and the winner of that then goes to the World Series.
And now Chuck's granddaughter, who dates someone, they're going, right?
Well, they're in a different division. He's in Division 2.
Oh, okay.
Plays at University of Texas at Tyler, I think it is, and they've qualified for the Division 2 World Series. Which basically, like the Texas Longhorns and Aggies and those people, they're in Division 1, whereas like these University of Texas, Tyler, or other schools like that are what they call Division 2, which is kind of a smaller universities. They don't. It's a bunch of paperwork that goes into that. So
That's
I don't
right.
know.
And speaking of these different divisions, and we're going to go back to Shiner now. Now Shiner and Ganado are going. They came from the same district. So you want to explain that, Jimmy?
Well,
how are they both going?
The UIL has done something strange, and I'm not certain why they did it. If it's for more money in their pockets, or if it's to give more people the opportunity to win a state championship, which that does, and it kind of breaks up the discrepancy between the lower school and the higher school in the same district, whatever that might be. And that's based on the population of that school or student enrollment of that school. Back in the days when I coached at Hallisville High, a lot of times we were one of the smallest schools in the state playing in the AAA division, and we were fortunate to make it to state and then a couple of times win it. And in fact, one year, the 2 years we did win state, we were the smallest school in the 3A division, of the 3A schools that were at the state tournament at that time. It's some good points on this and some bad points. It does give opportunity for more teams to win state or go to state or advance to state. The only difference is in the past you could go to state if you won your region, you went to Austin, whether it's for softball or baseball. Now baseball they played at Round Rock now, but back in the day it was in Austin as well. And I always thought that was a highlight. If you could make it to the state tournament, that was, even if you didn't come home the state champion, you were a winner. And now it's basically the semifinals is played at a neutral site, and they are able, and then basically then the winner plays each other at a state championship game. So it's not technically the same thing as a state tournament anymore, but it does have the same meaning, and I don't know. I'm not really fond of that. I think it's better to have it, and I'm sure they would like to do that type of thing where they brought the 4 teams to state, but they have to have a whole week of playing there, and it's hard to get a stadium. They play either at Round Rock or Texas Softball Stadium or the baseball Dish Falk, and those those teams are still playing as well, so they need their stadiums to play with. And one thing I don't know, it's one thing that kind of crazy too. It allows the semifinals can be a 2 out of 3 series.
Yeah, that was very different.
But then when they go to the state championship game, it's a one and done.
One and done.
But I have to say, I'm coached in the day when all our games were 1-game playoffs. If we won, we advanced. If we lost, we went home. So I don't know.
You give it your all. And also, I will say for like Shiner, I can't remember where Ganado played, but Shiner faced, I have no clue, who did they play? Crossroads last week. And it was quite a distance for both teams to even meet in Temple because they're so far apart. So it's nice that when you had the state tournament at Texas, we all knew where we were going. It would have still been a farther drive for Crossroads, but you get to spend the night. It's the experience. I think it's all worth it. So that is very different. It almost felt like we weren't at the state semifinal. Like the hype wasn't there.
Right.
But
just
that comes with change.
Game, that's what it was. The craziest thing, and for those that don't know, that UIL takes, and of course we all know Texas is one of the largest states in the United States, but it divides everybody up into 4 regions. And for example, in the setup, you could have a region 4, say for example Shiner playing a school, and we're located in Central Texas, and they could be playing a school in region 3, which might be located way over by Beaumont or even further up the ladder there, Tyler or whatever it might be. And so they got to find a place, and that's a pretty good distance to travel between the two schools.
It is, and like Shiner did a 2 out of 3, so it was 2 trips back.
Exactly.
To back, and then luckily they won the first 2, or they would have had to go after graduation and go back one more time.
Well, that's another thing, playing at that time when graduation, that throws everything into a kink because you got to work around the graduation ceremonies as well.
Yeah, and so best of luck to Ganado, who I don't know who Ganado's playing. Do you? Riser or something?
Riesel? I think it's pronounced Riesel.
I think that's it. And Shiner is playing. Now I'm going to really have a hard time. Who is Shiner playing? We are playing...
is it Crossroads? No,
that's who we played last. Sundown, that's it. And so... I
don't even know where Sundown is.
I do not know either. I hear they're a young and fast team. So that's exciting. Now, you tell me, Jimmy. So Shiner was there last year and won it all.
Oh.
And Sundown has never been. How does that work in your mind?
That works way in advantage of Shiner because the experience is such a factor up there. When you get in that kind of a setup, having experienced it before, you're a little bit more at ease at going or approach to the game as compared to a school that has never played for that situation. They're equally good, but they're going to be nervous playing against you, and so early in the game is going to play a big factor how the game goes. If Sundown can control the Lady Comanches in the early few innings, it may turn out to be a very tight ball game. But if the Lady Comanche, and of course if it stays close longer and longer, Sundown will play tougher, but yet still that experience in the long run, the Lady Comanche can sit back and say, all right, we lost that inning, we'll play for the next inning, and so on down. Because every inning is important when you play in that kind of...
And every pitch matters a lot. Exactly. And I mean, they call it the big stage, and I think that, yes, it is as far as what you come away with, but it's also... Texas, the stadium itself, Red McCombs, is very loud. Very loud, very hot. I know my daughter, luckily, and she's been very blessed to be the manager of one of the managers. There's a lot, but one of the managers for the softball team. So we get, all of the messages, and a big thing was bring your cooling towels because those dugouts are below everything. It's in direct sun. It is a very hot stadium.
It cuts off the air of the wind. You mentioned that. I remember playing at Dish Falk in 95, and we were playing for the state championship, and it was 95 degrees out there, but the AstroTurf was even hotter. And I remember you could stand on the AstroTurf surface, and your bottoms of your feet were just burning up. But if you found a light pole with a little bit of shade, and you stood in that area, it wasn't so bad.
All the tricks of the game. But yeah, it is. And I know that when Coach Turney used to coach at Shiner, and he had, of course, taken some teams to the state championships, he would have the speakers blaring at practice because just to help them learn how to play with the noise. Because it's a whole different ball game. So best of luck to them. Ganado's there for the first time. I don't know we talked about they're playing Riser. I don't know if they've been there before. But
no, Ganado has never made it to state either.
So it is. It's going to be a great day.
And the Lady Comanches play at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and I believe Ganado plays
right after that. Yes. I don't know if it's set for 1 or 12.
Something like that. It's about 2 hours afterward or so.
So, and hopefully no rain delays. Let's get all the rain out today because now they're not playing on turf. Most of the teams picked a turf site up until now, so they wouldn't have rain issues.
Well, the Texas Longhorn softball doesn't have turf.
They do not have turf.
They play regular field.
We are at the we're at the discretion of what the weather does for when we will start tomorrow.
Michelle, don't ever say hope the rain stops.
I know.
When it does, it doesn't come back.
Well, just pause. Let's talk about pausing the rain for tomorrow. But I'm excited, and best of luck to those teams.
Yes, best of luck to both of them. What a way to finish a year when school comes in, it's always exciting, but when you still playing softball or baseball at this time of the year, it is extremely exciting to the players and the coaches and the fans, and it's really a nice way to finish a year.
And I think it will take Shiner to the top team if they win, as far as maybe they're already there. They're going for their 8th title. And they actually defeated Weimar also to get here, which Weimar, Ganado, and Shiner were all in the same. So that's amazing.
Good possibility that 2 teams from the same district will be state champions in 2 different divisions.
I guess that's what UIL wanted. I'm not sure. But here we are. So you talked a little bit about playing after graduation. Well, most of them are. I know most of our schools now have graduated, I think, except St. Paul, who graduates this Friday. So they're still in school.
I did not know that.
They're still trucking through one more week. So they're almost there. But you got to watch a graduation on NFHS.
Yes.
And you said it was nice to
Oh,
watch
yes, it really was. We had to do it for my mother-in-law who's in the nursing home, and thanks to you letting us borrow your password, it worked out really. I don't know if I should say that on the air.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
sharing is caring.
It was very appreciative, and it was just like we were right there watching the Hallettsville High School graduation, and I don't know, it's a good thing. And the seniors who are graduating, they've worked a long time through high school. It's kind of a sad and happy type occasion, because it's sad because you're kind of coming to an end of one part of your life, whereas on the other hand, it's exciting because now you're entering a new part of your life. So
it's a very fun time, lots of emotions. I will say this whole streaming of graduation, streaming of athletic events, that all kind of came popular with COVID. And I am not grateful to COVID for many things, but I actually am grateful for that. As a coach's wife, I went to many games, and the first time I got to stay home and watch a football game in my pajamas, I was very excited. So I think it's a great thing. If you tend to be maybe a hermit, it may be bad, because like me, I'm just I could get dressed and go, or I could just lay in my bed and watch it. So but it's not the same experience. But it also, for your mother-in-law, who would have had a very hard time getting there, near impossible, it is a great way for them to be a part of it and not miss it.
You mentioned COVID. I was just thinking the other night when I was watching the graduation, the students that graduated this year's graduating class, dealt with COVID when they were 8th graders. If you think back at the time, they basically shut school down and went to virtual learning for a while, and I don't know if that was a good thing or not. I really don't think it was. I mean, it really, you think about it, it affected those students. I'm sure as time goes by, that stuff will be in the background, but like last year's graduating class, they were the ones that started their high school career in that type of situation. So
yeah.
Anyway.
And it seems like it was a very long time ago. Then it seems like it was yesterday that we did COVID. And it also seems like it was a big dream that would have never happened. It is crazy. I've been watching I guess recently, old shows, and right now I was watching Law and Order SVU because I love that show. And we went to the season during the time it was COVID, and when you see everyone with masks and stuff, it again is starting to seem weird, which for a while it seemed weird. If someone didn't have a mask, you're like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
So,
that mask, actually, though,
yeah,
I guess I wasn't a big fan of it. But
neither.
that mask would protect you from the spread of germs. And I don't know, some say that there was a lot more made out of that than it should have been. And you don't know. It just, thank goodness it's over with now.
Yes, and there were a lot of lives lost, and I don't want to discredit those, but at the same time, there's a lot of survivors. And always just be smart when it comes to any sickness.
Right.
Just do what you can, stay home when you can, but that's a hard thing. Which, speaking of that, my daughter got perfect attendance. It must be because I work here, because so did Cal, who got perfect attendance.
Okay. Well, I think students that go to schools on a regular basis like that and try to attend every day, it all is part of the family atmosphere, and the parents judgment over it, not to discredit any parents or anything, but it's a compliment to the parents too that their kids are able to go to school every day.
Thanks, Jimmy, because I'm amazing, right?
Yeah, you are. Self-proclaimed amazing.
So we've made it through Memorial Day, state tournaments. And let me just say, I'm going to go a little back to the state tournament. Jimmy and I did when we went to the career day. And we had this panel up front. And they asked this question about what has been the greatest thing that's happened in your career. Was that the question? It was something like that.
I think it was.
And Jimmy, who now works for the newspaper, which is why we were there, was like, should I stay winning a state championship? No, you're here for the newspaper. But really, that probably was your highlight.
It was my highlight. In fact, that was the most enjoyable part of my life is coaching. I enjoyed coaching. I went into education because I wanted to coach. I didn't really care about teaching in a classroom, but I did. But you had to do one to do the other. So, and I had a good fortune that we had some wonderful baseball teams, some great teams back in the 90s and the 2000 era. We didn't do so good in the 80s when I first started coaching, but as time went by, we seemed to be, you're talking about experience. We played teams in playoffs a lot of times as the years went by that they were really better than us, but because of our experience and that we believed we were going to win, we won, and so it was a good thing. You mentioned Coach Cherney, wonderful man, and we had some battles, and not in district, but in non-district games, and there were other coaches around, and Coach Woods over at Yoakum, and Coach Wunderlich and Weimer, and to name a few of them, those were people that I have a lot of respect for, and we had some great games with them.
Yeah, I would say my husband, now he's won a state championship as a coach and a player. I think probably the player one is his favorite. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, it's both ways. I know when we won our first state championship in '95, it was almost like a surreal thing that you couldn't believe it actually happened. Right. But it did, and it was a wonderful experience. And then we were fortunate enough to win it again a couple years later, and had two other teams that made state, and one of them we just barely missed playing back-to-back state championships. In '97 we won state. In '98 we went back to the state tournament, and we played the Atlanta, which way up northeast Texas.
Wow!
They wound up beating us 2-1 in the seventh inning, and they went on and won state that year. So we could almost got two in a row.
And that was close. Was Margaret's son on any of those teams? Margaret's
son was on the 92 team, which also made it to state. And we lost in the semifinals there. We got beat on a 2-run homer.
So was Margaret like a crazy baseball mom?
She was a good baseball mom.
She was good.
Very good. Her husband, Albert, a fine man. He helped a lot working on the fields and good supporter of baseball and those people back at that time, not only Albert and Margaret but several other parents, they were a big part in the Little League program, getting it going, and those kids, they helped a lot, and I was just fortunate to be able to continue to move it on when they got to high school. And Margaret was a wonderful parent.
Did she yell a lot?
I don't think so. Of course, you don't hear that on the field too much, or any specific person yelling. No, not that I know of.
I wanted to relive the Margaret screaming days. Well, I guess, we're going to have to get ready for these papers coming and putting them together. Yeah. It looks like the rain stopped. And
for y'all, those of you that don't know, we get papers delivered from College Station. They're printed at College Station in Bryan on early Wednesday morning, and then we have a older couple that brings them down in a van. They usually arrive here about 9:15, 9:30. We unload them, and then the rest of the morning we're in the process of putting mailing labels on them and then going out and distributing. It's a busy morning. I mean, it makes the hour fly by, but they usually show up about maybe 30 minutes from now, and
And
anyway.
Clayton's probably waiting for breakfast. Now, Chuck Groff texted me last night and said he was buying the office breakfast. So, even if you're not hungry today, Jimmy, I would just get breakfast.
Yeah, I might do that. Take advantage of that old tight wad.
He said that he got money in the mail, which that never happens to me. But speaking of money, we were going to talk about it. So, last week when Nicole was here, and we were going to eat at Country Bakery afterwards, me, Nicole, and Ani. I went in my pocket and I was like, oh, I lost $20. And we looked under the car. I looked in Ani's car. I looked by my desk when I got back. And I was just like, well, I guess it fell out of my pocket. Well, sure enough, we came in here and there it was sitting on the ground like a miracle from God. So I'm $20 richer.
You know, it's amazing. And I was in here yesterday. I never saw it on the ground. And
or Jimmy would have been like,
speaking of money, getting money, Henry announced to us that he was a winner at the Sacred Heart picnic.
Henry is the luckiest man ever. Which that's another reason we have to get off the podcast. Do you think Henry's here?
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Because I've already missed him. But yeah, so we got to go order breakfast because we know Clayton's starving. And Chuck's paying, so that's another reason to hurry up and get that. And then and then Henry's here, so.
Yeah, and I see we've gone about 30 minutes, so we probably talked long enough. 30
minutes of no papers is in front of us, pretty good. Now, that does not mean you all should pick up your papers this week. There is a lot in them. A lot of news. We didn't talk about, there was one thing.
Oh, yes.
The Freitags went to see where it happened to be. I don't know the story. You should just say the story.
A retired dentist from Hallettsville, Wayne Freitag, and his wife Leanne were part of a pilgrimage group out of the Victoria Diocese that went with Bishop Brendan Cahill to Italy. And they just happened to leave right as Pope Francis passed away, and they were unsure of how that's going to affect their trip. They went there I didn't know this, they went there to visit 4 doors that are open only every 25 years, and this is one of those 25 years. And so they were doing that type of thing when they started the conclave with the cardinals and electing a new pope. And it just so happened they happened to be in St. Peter's Basilica. They made it to Rome at that time, and they were in St. Peter's Basilica the evening that the first black smoke started to flow. That's something we all found out about, too, what black smoke and white smoke mean when a pope is elected. Anyway, the next day they were doing some touring, and then they got through and they were at their hotel, and then the white smoke appeared, and the bishop said, let's get going. And they went to the basilica, and about an hour or so later, they were able to be in person and watch, as among other thousands of people, as the new Pope, Pope Leo XIV, which is from the United States, appeared on the balcony of the St. Peter's Basilica. And so it was quite an experience. And so we did a little story on them. If you're interested in that kind of thing, please read it, because I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, that's very exciting. A memory they definitely won't forget.
Exactly.
And that's just being at the right place at the right time, almost.
In my opinion, you don't see election of a pope very often, because when they're elected pope, they serve until they pass away, and sometimes that may be 30 years later. And another thing, nowadays we have social media and cable television or networks that broadcast live right away from around the world, so we were able throughout the country to be able to see this as it was actually happening, and that's something you don't normally do. I thought it was, and again, as I said, being that he's from the United States, even though that shouldn't make a difference.
Oh, it does.
It was something to see for one time, to see a cardinal from the United States be selected as the Pope of the Catholic Church. So.
Now, I did try to watch it on your computer, but then we had to go to lunch because we only get a certain time frame for lunch here.
You're lunching all the time, in my opinion.
I'm lunching. And so Nicole and I went, and so Jimmy was actually the first person that told me.
Yeah.
And when he said it was the guy from America, I thought at first, would Jimmy lie to me about the Pope?
The craziest thing, Michelle put together a kind of a Pope pool, which we all made a prediction as to who we thought would be the predicted selected Pope. And turns out Margaret picked the right one. And Have a nice little pool. I think we had close to $25 in that pool.
And she was supposed to buy us donuts, Chuck says, and we still haven't got them. I'll be waiting for my donuts. But yeah, so it was very fun. Read that story. There's a lot of other stuff I know in the paper this week. We just don't have it in front of us, but it is always worth the read. Thanks to our advertisers always for all of their support. And we are coming out with the commemorative edition for the Sacred Heart softball and baseball. So get in touch with us if you'd like to put an ad in the paper, or David Smollett, because he's walking around helping us sell. So either one, you see any of us or want to call us or come in, we want to make it a great edition because, again, they won state. And around here, it does seem to happen a lot, but that doesn't mean we should take it for granted. It is not an easy feat.
No, it's not.
So we're just blessed. All right. Well, we hope that everyone has a great, I guess, weekend, because we're almost there. It's hard to believe when you get Monday off. It helps a little bit to speed up the week. But have a great weekend. Do great things.
And we wish the Lady Comanches good luck.
Yes. Good luck. Go. We did a video not too long ago. And, you know, when it does what is that called? When it does the words at the bottom, Jimmy.
A crawl?
No, like if you turn the TV sound off.
Closed captioning?
Closed caption. And some of my royalty did it for Callie Sepchek when the girls were going to regionals in volleyball. They did a video, and the dialect at the bottom, the closed caption picked up, and it said, go command, shine, go shine your command cheese. So go shine your command cheese. But go, ladies, and I know that you will do great, and you've already made us proud. And best of luck to Ganado and also to the Schulenburg boys who are at the state finals.
They're in the state semifinals.
State semifinals. So congratulations to all of them. Best of luck, and next week we'll tell you who the winner was. Thanks, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
Bye.